Good day, everyone. It's Friday, March 4th, 2022, and just a little commentary on my drive into work today. So, silver's sitting at right around $25.42 an ounce as we speak, which is pretty good. It's a 1 month high for silver, and given the circumstances, that kind of makes sense. And just want to talk a little bit about precious metals, the economy, what's going on in Russia and Ukraine right now. And I was watching the news this morning, and it looks like they've got a Ukrainian town that's kind of been surrounded by Russia, completely cut off, so civilians can't escape. And according to news reports this morning, they're supposedly executing people that are in the town to try to demoralize the citizens and bring Ukraine to a surrender. And one thing that I've come to find out with the news lately, not even really lately, just the news in general, it's so difficult to know what to believe. What's the truth? What's a lie? And so much of what we've heard from the Ukrainian side has been, it's just, wow, I can't believe they're doing that. This is amazing. The ghost of Kiev and Miss Ukraine, who supposedly went back to, enlist in the army to start fighting again. And videos we see supposedly from the conflict. And as it turns out, so many of these things are fake and false news. And when you hear these stories initially, it's like, wow, this is great. This is an amazing story. And then you find out it not to be true. It really hurts the narrative. It hurts Ukraine's credibility. And Russia's the same way. In the United States, we still have Russia Today. I've been watching their channel on YouTube, basically trying to hear the Russian perspective. And of course, their side of the story is 180 degrees different from what the Ukrainians are telling us. And it's just a really difficult situation to know what to believe. But ultimately, as it breaks down, Russia's the aggressor here. They're invading a country with a 10 times smaller military budget than themselves. It should be an overwhelming victory for the Russians, and it's not as of right now. And I think the reason why is because Putin, to some degree, is trying to win the hearts and minds of the Ukrainian people by using a lighter touch. And as things continue to get more difficult for them to achieve their goals, Putin's basically increasing the amount of pressure and the amount of force that is exerting on the country to force a surrender. And on the news last night, they were talking about how the Russian forces are moving up from the south, and then you've got the Russians moving down from the north near Kiev, and basically they're going to try to create like a cut between the country. Think of Ukraine as like a potato, and they just slice it down the middle. So all the Ukrainians that are on the eastern side basically would be cut off from supplies from NATO and reinforcements, which would make it much more likely for that half of Ukraine to surrender to Russia. And that's basically what it's looking like one of their potential goals is. But it's just a really tough situation. And one thing about silver and gold in Russia, because of all of the heavy sanctions and everything that we're doing to taking Russia out of the SWIFT system, it's causing mass panic in Russia. And there's citizens who, it seems like in large part, they don't want this war. They don't want their lives upended by these crippling sanctions the world's putting on their country. They're out to the grocery store. They're out to places like IKEA. They're buying up commodities. They're buying up things as fast as they can. And not just that, they're taking their money out of the bank like crazy, because the Putin's basically threatened to seize depositors' assets if the situation gets to the point where the government feels like they need to do that. And where silver and gold come into play, if you look, I looked at Kitco, the Kitco app, and you can basically price gold in rubles, in US dollars, and euros. If you price gold and silver in if you price gold and silver in the ruble, you can see how gold and silver has kept up with this inflation over the course of the last week that Russia's been at war and these sanctions have been imposed. As the value of the ruble falls, the price of gold and silver are holding steady. And those Russians who had put their wealth into commodities and monetary assets like gold and silver, they're in a much better place right now than those who have all of their money in rubles. And realistically speaking, with what we've seen in Canada recently, with the emergency powers that Trudeau had, and seizing assets, freezing bank accounts for people that disagree with things the government's doing, and with what's going on in Russia now, very similar circumstance. They're restricting how much money, how much rubles can be taken out of ATM machines. Banks are running out. They're having bank holidays. We're one major emergency away in the United States from something like that possibly happening to us. And for me, I'm thankful to have a lot of my wealth in silver and gold outside of the monetary system, the modern monetary system. And as far as cash goes, I keep enough cash in the bank basically to pay my bills, and that's pretty much it. There's no incentive at 0.5% interest for me to keep my money in the bank, and with all of the risks that are attached to it. And as we know, with the Dodd-Frank Act, with the FDIC doesn't have to pay you back in cash. They don't have to pay you back in dollars. They can pay you back in basically stocks from the bank that's failing. And what good really does that do? So it doesn't have to be cash that they reimburse you for. And that's one thing a lot of people don't realize, because the FDIC doesn't have enough money in its pool to be able to cover all depositors if there was a major banking crisis. It's basically a false security blanket. And I tell you, with everything that's happening in the world today, it's just so scary. And I'm just so thankful that I've got a good portion of my wealth in precious metals at this time. And even with cryptos, the crypto market's being messed with right now. I've heard people say the crypto market's broken. Governments are trying to crack down on it. And cryptos have been moving with other equities. So as stocks go down, the crypto market goes down. As stocks go up, the cryptos go up. They're not. It doesn't appear to be a safe haven asset the way that it's basically been touted to be. And with silver and gold, at the very beginning of this crisis, we saw a massive run-up in the silver and gold prices. And then we had a massive tamp down. And the tamp down came basically from the big banks like Bank of America and JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, all these big corporations. And what did we see immediately after? The prices started to rebound and started to go back up. I don't think the banks can keep the price down for much longer. And something interesting, because as we know, we've been following the silver short that Bank of America has had on the silver futures market. And as the silver price moved up at the beginning of this crisis, you saw Bank of America's stock go down. As the silver price fell, Bank of America's stock went up. And then, now that the price of silver is up again, Bank of America stock is back down. So there's a correlation between Bank of America and the silver price, which indicates to me that the stories of their silver short is more than likely true. And also, there are big contracts being bought up supposedly by wealthy Russians before the SWIFT system got locked down about 3 or 4 days ago. And there have been some major moves on the silver market following this Russia-Ukraine crisis. But at any rate, just a few other things about myself, what's going on. We had a windshield on my car break, as I told y'all before. And instead of going to get it fixed, we basically went out and we got a new car. And the old car was basically just kind of falling apart. It wasn't going to last me another year, and I felt like it was the right time to go ahead and get a new vehicle. So that's what I did. And my phone is also, the phone that I use for my videos it's a phone from 2016, so it's kind of over the hill. And I did purchase a new Samsung, was it the 22 Ultra? It's supposed to have like the best camera and the biggest screen, the most memory. I've had some issues with creating the videos and saving the videos, and I've had some corruption issues within my phone. So it's made it difficult to get videos posted lately. So I'm going to get that corrected, and I'll have a better camera so you can see what I'm showing you in much better detail. And also, the trade that I'd made for the 1.3 troy ounces of gold, that finally came in, and I'm super excited to show you guys what it's all about. But I'm going to wait until I get that new phone before I show you what I have, because I want it to be the best quality possible. But at any rate, I hope that you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for listening. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, share, and subscribe. And until next time, Napoleonic Stacker, signing out.